right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages. What to do when your wife is on her phone. So, this is a common one that I hear from guys. I've had this issue myself. Your wife is on her phone when, the kids are down or you're in bed and you're kind of wishing you could talk, but she just seems distracted on her phone. And yeah, guys do a lot of problematic things that will not be helpful. So we're going to talk about those and then what to do instead. But my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So wins from this week, guys are just, this is one of the big changes that happen is guys just become less affected by their wife's responses, positive or negative, because they have that healthy separation. They're able to manage their own emotions, whatever their wife might be up to. It's just very empowering for these guys. One gentleman shared he was able to forgive his wife's past mistakes, some pretty big issues on her side. And he was able to just give that forgiveness, which is just freedom for him. Again, the way that I teach forgiveness and believe in it is it's you let go of that resentment. You let go of trying to punish that person anymore. It's not the same as having faith that things can get better. That's separate from forgiveness, which is just not trying to punish the person. It's also separate from trust because the person has to earn trust over time. But forgiveness, yeah, just lets you be free. It lets you be more clear on what you're asking for from your wife, what your boundaries are with people. So it's a powerful thing and something that God asks us to do, right? This gentleman also shared, God pretty much spells that out in the Bible. If you don't forgive men their trespasses, I'm not going to forgive you your trespasses. So it's kind of on us to do that. And yeah, it's for our own good. So whatever your wife might be up to, whether that's something like being on her phone too much or something big like infidelity, forgiveness is powerful. So serving out of love versus expectation. A lot of guys lately, they're sharing that, again, they're doing the same things that you do in the mosquito cycle. They're serving their wife, they're doing the love languages, they're trying to help out, but it's not expecting something back. It's because they actually care and just want to do those things. And then again, the paradox is when you do it for that reason, you get more attention, appreciation, affection, and sex back. And they're experiencing that as well with increased appreciation from their wives, more interest, all of that. Guys, they're, again, the three steps that we do, right? We find your negative patterns, replace them with positive, practice those new ones until you can't get it wrong. Guys, they're doing that, right? They're catching these old negative patterns of feeling attacked when really they're not being attacked, or, taking offense when they don't really need to, or getting judgmental when that's usually not very useful and something we'll talk about today. But being able to replace those with being kind, being caring, not taking things so personal, all of that. Guys, instead of feeling exhausted trying to do everything to make their wife happy, they feel liberated, right? It's so cool. I want this for you guys, so come join us, right? Come over and join us in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. There's a link in the show notes. Guys, they're having big turnarounds, going from wives talking about divorce to having date nights, right? Having date nights after years with like barely talking to each other. Okay, these are the kinds of things that are happening. And for me this week, my wife and I had a really fun date night, really fun Saturday with the kids. And also I spent some more time with friends. I was kind of, it's one of the things I teach in the program is making sure you're filling your own emotional needs. I'd kind of neglected that for a while, hadn't been spending much time with friends, and reconnected this week, and it was a big help for me. So talking about today's subject. So what you're trying right now, right? Your wife, she's on her phone, right? So it's in the evening after dinner or whatever, or, I've had guys say their wife's on their phone when, they are the ones making meals and their wife just seems to be, their interpretation is being lazy, right? Or in bed at night when you're hoping to kind of finally have some talk from the day, she's just on her phone. And so you start getting frustrated. So a few thoughts generate that frustration. So one is, she should be talking to me instead. Okay. So you start, feeling like, well, this isn't fair. She should be talking to me. So you start making like passive aggressive comments like, oh, well, yeah, it seems like you're really interested in your phone, or, that kind of thing. Or you pout and you sulk, right? You kind of look mad in the bed next to her when she's on her phone, and she might look over and be like, what's wrong? And you're like, nothing, stuff like that. Or you just go on your own phone. You're like, fine, she's going to talk to me. I'll just, I guess, go on my phone and distract myself from my kind of sadness and frustration that she's not engaging with me. So all of those, right? They're kind of immature. They're not very attractive, and she's still on her phone at the end of this, or she's just kind of irritated with you for being irritated with her for being on her phone. So another thought that can get guys in trouble here is like, why is she wasting so much time on her phone? She should be doing something else. She should be more productive. So the feeling there, you start feeling judgmental. You start feeling superior to her. So you're making comments to her like, man, you kind of waste a lot of time on your phone, or shouldn't you be doing something else, something more productive here? So in that like superior judgmental thinking, it's it's not very attractive, And look, sure, could you be doing something more productive than being on your phone? Probably, but maybe not too. Maybe she just needs a break here. But the point is, you thinking in this way is, if you're wanting more connection with your wife and you're upset with because she's on her phone because you're wanting more connection, this is not going to generate that for you. Um, Being judgmental, telling her why she's wrong. Okay, people just get defensive when you do that. So yeah, basically you're acting whiny or pouty or superior or judgmental, and all of that's very unattractive. It doesn't feel good to you. It's just gonna want to make her ignore you more, right? It's just gonna want her to. She's gonna want to be on her phone more if you're acting this way. So, or just justify being on her phone. She either wants to just avoid you and be like, man, I don't even want to talk to this guy. Or if you're like, well, you shouldn't be on your phone so much, blah, blah. Then she's like, well, here's why I should be on my phone. I need to escape you being a jerk all the time. So another common thought I see you guys have with this is she's trying to escape her reality. Like she's trying to get away from something here. So that's definitely like a superior judgmental kind of thought, you know. So maybe you like send her an article about the dangers of too much screens, where you're like, hey, our kids, we have screen limits for our kids. Maybe you should, do the same thing and not be on your phone so much. Um, so you have this kind of desire to change her or to kind of parent her, and so she feels patronized, she gets defensive, and maybe she points out your issues, right, and your escapes. Well, look, like you're doing this, or you're like, I think you're using work for an escape, and you're like, no, I'm not. And she's like, well, yeah, you are. Well, I'm not using my phone. It just turns into a mess. Um, so here's what to do instead. So what we want to do when we see her on her phone is think to ourselves, hey, she's probably on her phone for a reason. She's probably got a good reason for this. And so you start feeling curious instead of whiny or judgmental or anything like that. So what you could do is just ask her, hey, what are you up to on your phone? What are you looking at? Get interested. So instead of getting judgmental, like, oh, she shouldn't be on there, like you're feeling genuinely interested. Hey, I wonder what she's up to, what you're looking at. Is there something funny? Is there something interesting? What's she getting out of this? So you can also, that's going to get you a lot farther, right? That's going to help you engage in a conversation. And again, like you can use those words, but with the wrong feelings and intentions. You can use those words, oh, like what are you up to on your phone, from a judgmental standpoint, with the thinking being you should be doing something else. Or you can say those words, hey, like what are you up to on your phone? What are you looking at? Hey, that sounds interesting. Everything, the tone and everything in your body language changes when you're genuinely thinking, hey, I wonder what she's up to, right? And you're feeling interested. Okay, so again, you can pair right actions with wrong feelings and intentions. That's why you have to go back to what are the actual feelings and intentions behind this and adjust those. Okay, just doing the right things doesn't work. That's what the mosquito cycle is, doing right things, but for the wrong reasons. So another thing you could think. So number one is, hey, she's probably on her phone for a reason. Maybe it's something funny. Maybe it's something interested. She's getting something out of this. So I wonder what it is. So another thinking that could be helpful is, hey, I'd like to talk to my wife right now. So first of all, the first one can help you start doing that anyway. But then, thinking, hey, I'd like to talk to my wife. You start feeling interested in her. And you can just say, hey, I'd like to talk about your day. Is now a good time? Just letting her know this is a request I have. I want to talk about our days. Is now a good time? Would later be better? So this is you asking for what you want directly versus being passive aggressive. So you saying, hey, I'd like to talk for a little bit, just check in on our days. Is now right good? You just need to distract yourself. Should we talk in a minute? That's strong, that's attractive. It's being clear on what you want versus, acting mad, walking out of the bed, making these snide remarks. Oh, you tell the kids not to be on their phone, but you're on your phone, right? Which is all very unattractive. So just be clear. If you want to talk to her, just tell her and ask if now's a good time. That's another little important tip, because sometimes this is just how humans work. Sometimes we're up to talking about things, sometimes we're not. So just ask if now's a good time. So when you're feeling curious and interested in her and just asking for what you want, those things feel good, they're strong, they're attractive. Okay? Another good tip, if you want to be interesting to someone, be interested in them. I've heard that from a bunch of books. I don't know exactly where to source that, but it came from one of the books I've read over time. If you want to be interesting, be interested. People are interested in themselves for the most part, like you. And so when you show interest in them, you are an interesting person. People like to let people know what's going on with them. And then also remember, there just might be times she needs to detach for a little bit. She might be on the phone just because she needs her brain to shut down and relax. You know, she's got kids all day, or she's working and has kids, or she just has a really busy job, or whatever. You know, sometimes we just need to take a break, and that's fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So you could even suggest, hey, you know, if you need to detach right now, that's great. Hey, why don't we watch a show together? So you're at least doing something together. Again, just asking for what you want. And then realizing, hey, maybe it's not about me at all. That's a big thing that a lot of us high achieving guys need to remember, that sometimes what our wife's doing has nothing to do with us. Okay, she's not trying to avoid you in bed. She just needs a break. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with you. And then you make it all about you. Oh, she doesn't want to talk to me, when really it doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay. And then look, if you are genuinely concerned, if she's on her phone 12 hours a day, right? If you're genuinely concerned, you can express that concern out of love for her. Okay? So a good way to do that is you can say something like, hey, when I see you on your phone, I get worried maybe you're struggling with other things. Okay? Is that true, or am I off on that? You know, I see you seem to be on your phone maybe 6-7 hours a day, 12 hours a day. You know, it just makes me worried. Maybe something else is going on. You know, is that true? Am I off? Is something going on? You know, that's a good way to open up that conversation with her and just share your concern. Again, out of love, not out of judgment. Oh, what's wrong with you? You shouldn't be doing this. But hey, like, I'm just worried. You're on your phone a lot. So, in summary, your wife, she's on her phone for a reason. Maybe she just needs some distraction after a long day. Okay. Probably it doesn't have a lot to do with you. Probably. Okay. And so, but even if it does, you acting pouty and aggressive or passive aggressive or judgmental, okay, it won't make her want to talk to you. Okay. It's not going to. If anything, it's just going to be like, what, right? That's what it'll turn into. If you're there, like, looking at her over a phone, like, she can sense what's going on in you. Like, people can pick up the feelings and intentions that we have. So if you're looking at her and you are genuinely feeling judgmental, she can sense that. She can pick that up. Okay. So instead of that, instead of feeling like she loves her phone more than you or that sort of thing, just get interested in her. So get interested in what she's looking at. Hey, what are you looking at? You know, is it funny? Is it interesting? What are you up to? Right. Or just ask for a time to talk. Hey, looks like you're on your phone right now. I'd love to just catch up on our days. Could we talk now, or is later better? You know, what's up to you, or what's good for you? Or suggest doing something together. Hey, you know, if you just need to unplug right now or just detach, why don't we watch a show together? We can just kind of laugh and have fun together. So again, this approach is going to be much better for you. Instead of being judgmental and passive aggressive and all that, just getting interested in her, asking to talk if that's what you want. Okay, giving some actual suggestions. This is again like complaining versus asking for something. It's easy to complain. It's hard to ask for something because we have to actually think about what we want and then express it in a positive way. And then if you're genuinely concerned, express that in a loving way. Like if she is, if she struggles with depression and she's on her phone a lot, maybe just ask, hey, you know, I see you on your phone 6-7 hours, 8 hours a day. You know, I know you've struggled with depression before, and you were kind of doing that back then. Is that something that's going on now, or kind of what's going on? I just am interested. I just want to know. I want to help. Okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you're doing it in a loving way versus a judgmental or pouty way. Okay, so again, all these approaches, they're stronger, they're more attractive. Okay, feels better. It does require some skills to do it though. You got to manage your own thoughts and emotions well A lot of us aren't very good at that. We need to be able to ask for what we want. A lot of us aren't very great at that. You need to communicate. Once she starts talking to you, you want to be able to listen to her, express yourself, and do all of that, and also be able to flirt and have fun. So it does require some skills, and you can learn all of that. You can learn all of that in Strong Men, Strong Marriages, my program. I'd love to have you join. Again, like I shared some of the wins at the beginning, guys are getting big wins, every day. And I want that to be you. I want you to be enjoying your marriage and not freaking out when your wife's on her phone, but know how to approach her in a way that's strong and attractive and will lead to more connection and you being the man that you want to be. So, all right, men, stay strong. Visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com. Apply to join Strong Men, Strong Marriages there. There's also a link in the show notes. All right, stay strong. We will see you there.